co se atletiky týče. Čivo, jak je to těžké dát dohromady v době, kdy...
Well, if you've just joined us, welcome to the 30th edition of the Brno International High Jump Meeting. Well, this meeting has been underway since 1996. It was, until recently, until 2022, an indoor meeting, and it had a place on the calendar in February, but then it got moved to this wonderful, magnificent mole just about 5 kilometres south of the Brno centre, and it's called the Olympia Centre. They're these host sponsors. We're looking at some of the local organisers, just having a quick chat. We're scheduled to get underway in about half an hour's time, but I have to say, I think we might be starting a little bit sooner than that, because the athletes have been out there and I've been watching them warm up, and warming up is the operative word. It's around 31 degrees in Brno at the moment. We've seen a lot of the athletes just warming up in their competition gear. None of the long leggings, none of the T-shirts. I'm hoping some of them have got sunscreen on. Occasionally we get a bit of cloud cover as a dark cloud drifts overhead, but it is hot, sweltering and very humid out there. Now sometimes that can actually lead to great competitions, but we'll have to wait and see. 13 competitors in this competition, including the World Championship silver medalist from Tokyo last September, Maria Szodziek, coming from Poland, and we've got a whole host of other top athletes from around the world. Well, historically, this competition has provided some great high jumping. Last year, we had a fantastic battle between Nicola Olislagers, who went on to win the world title in Tokyo. She cleared 2 meters and just managed to outlast Yulia Levchenko, who was over 198 but found 2 meters beyond her on that occasion. The meeting record, it's 2:03, held by Yaroslava Mahuchik, the Olympic champion, which she did back in 2022, the first year when we moved to the Olympia shopping centre. Well, I'm just wondering this year whether any of those women will be able to get over 2 meters or even better. It's these great conditions potentially for really good jumping, perhaps some personal bests out there. So, I think we'll just, for the moment, leave it to the local organisers to introduce the meeting. I do have to confess my Czech is a bit shaky. I know a few words. So, these are just the introductory remarks, and then the women will probably get underway very shortly. I'm sure the organisers don't want to leave them sitting around out there. Really, no need to do as much warm-up as they would do in cooler climates and cooler conditions. It's just a question of making sure that your run-up's grooved in. I'm sure we're going to get a full introduction of all 13 women. I mentioned Szodziek as well. We have the US indoor champion, Charity Hufnagel. And coming out, I can tell you who that is, Jaroslav Barber, Olympic medalist from 2004, subsequently European medalist both indoors and outdoors, and the chair record holder indeed with clearance at 2 meters 37. He's also coached to 2 of the women in this competition, as well as the top men's high jumper from Czechia, Jan Štefele, who took a bronze in Tokyo. So, translating a very good competitive career into a very good coaching career. As you can imagine, Barber just towering above everybody else. I can remember watching the Athens Games. I was there myself, and Barber, surprise bronze medalist in Athens. He was only 19 years of age, but went on to be at the very top level for more than a decade afterwards. So we just wait for the local organisers to do the presentation of the athletes, but stay with us because we've got a very good high jump competition coming up. Just women this year. In times gone past, it's been sometimes the men, sometimes women and men's competitions. It does depend a little bit on the organisation. This year we've got a concert beforehand and then we've got concert afterwards, so it's bringing the audience right the way down to the Olympia shopping centre. As I say, this is about 5 kilometres just south of the Brno city centre. Brno, of course, second biggest city in Czechia. It's about 200 kilometres to the east of Prague. Not difficult to get to. Takes about 2 hours driving, maybe a little more. So, just take a break from commentary and await the introduction of the athletes.
Reprezentantky České republiky. Zamyslíte se a řeknete, jednička je ta, dvojka je ta, nebo nebudete prozrazovat, jak by se to mělo asi odvíjet?
To je strašně těžký závod od závodu, ale obě jsou jedničky a doufám, že obě dvě klidně jsou dneska na stejném umístění a i výkonu, ale ať je to klidně sezembez nebo osoba.
Tak vy budete jednou i sportovní diplomat, jak to tak poslouchám teda. Čivo, pozdrav pro našeho olympijského medailistu a muže, který se stará o nástupce v jeho stopách prostě. A Toníku, jdeme na to.
Jdeme na to. Jarda Bábo, moc krát děkujeme. Já tady mám ale ještě jednoho muže, který má na svém kontě medaili olympijskou, a to zlatou. V Tokiu 2020, které se ale skákalo v roce 2021 a střílelo, byl zlatý olympijský vítěz z Tokia Jiří Lipták. Kam to směřovat? Ke kameře. Ahoj, Jiko.
Zdravím všechny a viděli jste, že já tak ladně jsem to nepřeskočil, to zábradlí.
Je pravda, že když byl rozhovor s Jardou, já jsem si říkal, jestli půjdeš tam, nebo jestli to přeskočíš, tak je úplně stejně. Zrušky jdou, teď vážně. Příprava na olympiádu 2028. V jaké fázi?
Tak my letos už na mistrovství světa budeme mít 4 postupové místa, ale až v listopadu a napřed se na ten závod musíme nominovat. A to hlavní se odehraje až příští rok.
Mě by zajímala ale jedna věc. V životě střelce, obzvlášť olympijského, rozhoduje každý milimetr, návyky a tak dále. Ale ty máš teď novou pažbu. Je to samozřejmě čistě jako laický dotaz. Je dobře měnit pažbu mezi olympijském cyklu?
Tak já jsem tu pažbu musel vyměnit, protože mám novou celou flintu, de facto nový model. A pro mě je to takový nový impuls, jo. Já jsem tu starší zbraň už používal 12 let a tak jak jde všechno dopředu, tak jde všechno dopředu i v tom vývoji těch zbraní, takže jsou nějaké novinky, nějaké technické novinky, které jsem si chtěl vyzkoušet a proto jsem tu zbraň změnil a teď jsem se vrátil z Itálie, kde mě dělali pažbu na míru, už druhou pažbu, protože ta první se povedla jenom z 90% a my to musíme mít všechno na 100%.
Tak my doufáme, že na olympiádě 2028 bude velmi podobné pořadí, jaké bylo v roce 2020 v Tokiu. Jaký to bylo, když jste tam zkrátka na prvních dvou byli dva Češi? Kdo z vás to má, přátelé?
Bylo to strašně krásný, ten pocit bych přál každému a o to zvláštnější to bylo, že někdy 10 let ještě před tou olympiádou jsme měli rozhovor v nějakým článku, kde náš vlastně jako sen bylo umístit se, stát vedle sebe nástupních vítězů na olympiádě. A oni nám to pak potom připomínali, když jsme se vrátili z toho Tokia, tak to hodně jakože to zmiňovali. Je to takový teďka nezvyk, já se slyším dvakrát, tak se nedokážu pořádně úplně soustředit. Pro vás je to asi úplně normální, ale chci pogratulovat i Čibovi, že prostě 30 let funguje tady ta laťka. Já jsem říkal, přemýšlel, kolik mě bylo asi 14 let. Už jsem tenkrát nějakou výšku měl, možná jsem měl i ještě váhu, abych mohl skákat, ale nikdy jsem neskákal a už mě to asi ani nepotká. A nevím teďka, co popřát závodníkům, co se přeje, dobrý odraz, dobrý skok. My si přejeme rovné broky, když nevím, nevím proč, když ty kroky jsou kulaté, jako jo. Takže dobrý skok všem, ať se vám tady daří, ať si někdo splní sen, nebo skočí nějaký rekord.
Říká olympijský vítěz v Tokiu 2020 Jiří Lifták. Plusové body doma. Jirko, děkujeme. Tak a v téhle chvíli zase přichází Štěpán, který tady má taky ještě jeden drobný rozhovor.
Ano, je tady takové diplomatické pojednání, protože na každý závod, který se dělá pod hlavičkou Světové atletické federace, teď se to už jmenuje oficiálně Světová atletika, jezdí delegát či delegátka. Oni jsme tady měli zástupce Světové atletiky z Chorvatska. Tentokrát je tady pro nás velmi milý a pohodový host. Paní Susan Kostin z Irska, a já jsem pozvu, už bude tak laskavá a od někoho se ke mně prodere, protože se na ní těším. Řeknu vám proč. Já jsem ji kdysi komentoval na poděbradských závodech v Úzi, protože je to závodnice, která dělala závodní sportovní kůzy a hlavně reprezentovala Slovensko, takže nebudeme potřebovat tlumočníka. Once again, please, Susan Kostin from Ireland. Delegátka, kde se nám objeví, to jsem zvědav. A nebo jestli ji někdo odebral na prohlídku Olympie, to také není. Už ji tady vidím. Podívejte se, výškový rozdíl mezi výškařkami se docela ztratí. Takže paní Susan Kostin from Ireland, ale vítám vás moc, ale vlastně ze Slovenska. Můžeme česky a slovensky?
Můžeme.
Tak co taková delegátka, nebo delegát, on je tady byl Chorvat, má vlastně za povinnost? Chodí na nějaký mejdany, na nějaké recepce, nebo hlídá, jestli je výsledková listina v pořádku. Co je vaší roli?
Žartujem. Kontrolujeme, či naozaj preteky prebiehajú tak, ako majú. Či sa spĺňajú všetky technické predpoklady, reklamné. A vlastne garantujeme, že výsledky, ktoré dosiahli pretekárky, sú platné.
Kolika závodů se tak během té sezony zhruba, nechci na vás vědět, jako nějaké kurikulum víte, ale zúčastníte a v jakých zemích už jste se pohybovala jako delegátka?
Tak, snažím sa to trošku obmedzovať, nakoľko mám malé deti doma. Ale mám...
Kolik jich máte?
3 malých klukov. Takže čo sa týka týchto jednodňových podujatí, tak na tie možno mám 2-3 do roka, ale popri tom sú majstrovstvá sveta, potom Ultima Championships.
Termínkem Evropský šampionát absolvujete také?
Nie, tohto roku budem v Oregone.
Tak já vám držím palec, aby se vám tady v Brně líbilo, tady jsou fandové atletiky a ať to probíhá všechno tak, jak to podle vašich not probíhat má. A děkujeme, že jste přijela do Brna. Dáma Susan Kostin, Slovenka v irských barvách. Good luck.
Moc krát děkujeme, v téhle chvíli už se Štěpán odebírá podstan vedle kolegy Michala Chilíka a ti dva vás budou, co se týče sportu, výkonu, zvyšování, představování a všech důležitých informací provázet už 30. ročníkem Brněnské Latky, která začala v roce 1996. Pokaždé, když vypadne nějaká závodnice a bude se zvyšovat, tak ta, která opustí tenhle závod, bude mít tu čest vylosovat tady z této místy jedno číslo, někoho z vás, kdo tady sedíte na tribuně, a potom po skončení Brněnské Laťky tam vedle do skočiště máme tu tombolu, chcete-li, nebo hluboce kompletně seřazenou a tam si to potom budete vyzvedávat. Takže teď dostávají v téhle chvíli ještě prostor závodnice, abyste důkladně rozeskákali a pokud nám to klapne tak, jak má, tak v 18 hodin a 30 minut bychom měli zahájit 30. ročník Brněnské Latky Olympia 2026. Hezky se bavte!
Well, if you're staying with us with those introductions to the officials and suitably honouring people who are involved in the organisation of this event, we're now really getting very close to getting underway. You can see by the people with the parasols and the sunglasses, it's very sunny and very warm out there. wonderful setup here in Brno. This has been on the international calendar since 1996. Very much a favourite place for the world's top high jumpers to go during the course of the season. Once upon a time, it was a major indoor event, usually taking place in February. And of course, part of a whole series of very good high jump competitions or field event specialist competitions held in Central Europe. Czechia, well, they have events in Hustopece and Třinec. And for the last couple of years, they've been on the European Athletics live stream. You can go and look them up on the European Athletics YouTube channel. Also, just over the border, Banska Bystrica, one of the world's top specialist indoor field event meetings. Well, it's a World Athletics Continental Tour Silver meeting, and it can certainly hold its own with all those great high jump competitions. As I said, just a women-only meeting this year. There have been some domestic competitions earlier in the day, and it's time to give a shout-out to the winner of the men's domestic competition, Julian Jurasek, who went over 2:06, and Andrea Vargova came over from Slovakia, from Bratislava, and cleared 1:65 to win the women's competition. Well, 1:65 probably isn't even going to be the opening height for the international elite competition coming up, but nevertheless, Vargova, just 20 years of age, and a useful performance from her.
Číslo, které pro někoho je velmi šťastné, pro někoho je velmi nešťastné, a to je 13. Takže budeme mít 13 závodnic v akci. Jsme zvědaví, jak se od těch 171, což bude základní výška.
If you're trying to find Brno on the map, it's in the South Moravia region of Czechia. Located at the confluence of the Svata and Sardatka rivers. And we've got about 400,000 people living in Brno. As I said a little bit earlier at the introduction to the programme, it's the second largest city in Czechia after the capital Prague. And it's served as the capital of Moravia. At various times the region has had independence, from the Middle Ages all the way through to 1948. Of course, it's famous for so many different cultural things, but it's got two great medieval landmarks, the historic Spelberg Castle and the Cathedral of the Saints Peter and Paul on the Petrov Hill, overlooking the centre. But we're a little bit away. We're in the modern parts of Brno, by one of the main motorways. Good access point if you want to go shopping, and makes life easy to get here for the athletes.
Že tak nějak za hodinku a 20 minut, hodinku a půl budeme tušit, koho Číma nezdařil legendární postava nejen brněnské, nejen české, ale dá se říct i evropské či světové atletiky.
Well, we've got a little bit of time. I'll also mark your cards about a couple of forthcoming live streams from European Athletics, the two big championships on the calendar coming up in the coming months. Next month, European Athletics Under-18 Championships coming to you from Rieti in Italy. And that's between the 16th and the 19th of July. And it'll be a lot of Europe's top teenage talent going through their paces in Rieti. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's as hot as today. Rieti, just about an hour's drive north of Rome. And then, well, we expect it to be a little bit cooler, but with the heat wave that's engulfing most of Western and Central Europe, who knows? The Birmingham 2026 European Athletics Championships, the highlight of the continental calendar. That's coming up between the 10th and the 16th of August. And in both cases, every single minute will be live streamed by European Athletics. So even if you're looking out for friends and family in some of the morning heats, or you just really want to focus on the finals with some of the European superstars, not least of which the European Athlete of the Year for the last few years, Mondo Duplantis, it's all there for you.
Část byla naprosto dokonalá. Tak dost by mě zajímalo, kam to chce šperkovat a jak to chce vylepšit pro ty další roky. No a teď jsem tu hozenou rukavici, tu zaskočeno, přesunul na Čibu, takže moc by mě zajímalo, jak si s tím poradí, tady s tím letím. Ale to možná necháme vyset ve vzduchu, protože Čiby asi neprozrazují.
No, on má totiž taky před sebou takový životní milník, který zhruba za půl roku a kousek bude moci oznámit.
45 roků.
No, teď jsme měli zlatou tretru 10 dny a tam
World Athletics Continental Tour meeting that is being streamed.
v den, kdy se konala zlatá
Weekend. On Sunday we have the meeting international Troyes. It's coming to you from Troyes in France. We've also got road racing, part of a series of Europe's top road races, very much with a focus of attention on European athletes. And we'll be streaming the Transylvania International 10K coming to you from Cluj in the Transylvanian region of Romania. And we've got a lot of very good European athletes involved in that competition, as well as some of Africa's top road runners as well. First edition of that International 10K coming to Cluj, but has a sister event in Brasov over on the other side of Transylvania, and every year that has produced very, very good results indeed, both for the world's elite from Africa as well as European athletes. This year the European athletes include Zenze Kebron Rengazi from Norway, the 2022 European Athletics Championships silver medalist. So, introductions about to get underway at the 13 women. So we start off with Denisa Pesova from Czechia, now 25 years of age, and the winner of the European Clubs Cup in May. Following her, Justina Bridlova hails from Vysoké Mýto, personal best of 187, which she achieved indoors this year. These are the two Czech competitors, and coincidentally, both coached by Jaroslava Barber. Here's the Swiss number one, 3 national titles, including the 2026 indoor title, Celine Weber. And you can hear her being introduced, Marta Morara from Italy. She's the Italian number 3 this year. Personal best of 188 dates back to 2022. She's had some good results recently, including just 2 weeks ago, clearing 186 in Sedavale.
Imogen Shelton from New Zealand.
So, Imogen Skelton, 4 times national champion in New Zealand, including the last 3 years, 2024, 25 and 26.
Imogen Shelton.
She's been in Europe since the end of May and is very much on the trail, chasing a New Zealand record of 192, which has been on the books since 1991. Narcy Brison, the Cuban number 1. Personal best of 193 from last year, 2 times Cuban champion.
6-time champion.
We saw her competing in Banska Bystrica earlier on this year indoors. Now back in Europe again, the Cuban. Busa Savaskan, 6 times Turkish champion indoors and out. And she was the Olympic finalist in Paris 2 summers ago. Number 2 on the Turkish all-time list. And the first of 2 very good Swedes, Engla Nilsson. 2 national titles to her name. European indoor bronze medalist in Apeldoorn in 2025. Still only 21 years of age, so she'll be eligible for next year's European under-23s in Bydgoszcz. Sana Barnes, Pan American under-20 champion back in 2019.
Mluvili jsme o tom a říkali se, že máme dvojici švédských závodnic. Dámy a pánové, toto je švédská halová mistryně. Osobní maximum 196. Louise Ekman.
Well, Louise Ekman, huge breakthrough indoors. Cleared 196 and earned herself a place to the World Indoor Championships, which this year were in Torun in Poland. Finished 6th there, and like Nilsson, has 2 national titles to her name in Sweden. Karma Bruce, the 2022 World Under-20 champion. Co-holder of the Estonian record at 196, and really coming back to form after some injury problems and some changes of coaching setup. Charity Hufnagel. Well, Hufnagel, 5th at the World Indoor Championships last year in Nanjing. Won the US Olympic trials, but was very unlucky not to go to Paris. Just missed out on qualifying by a handful of world ranking points. But here, standing in the shade. Not sure if she's going to be put in the shade, though. Very much the favourite for this competition, Maria Zodzik. A Pole, silver medalist in Tokyo last year, in the rain, clearing 2 meters for the first time. She carried on with some very good performances indeed. 2 weeks ago, clearing season's best of 196 in Warsaw. So there's the 13 women. Nice line up there.
Na první výšku už tam vidíte na
ukazateli 70 cm. Perhaps the easiest thing to carry around with you when you're going back. Some will be travelling from their home bases like the Swedes and Zodzik, who based in Bialystok. Others like Barnes and Hufnagel and Greason, well, maybe just put them in a
My se budeme smíchat střídat u každého pokusu, jako první se dosekla rubina Denisa Pešová, Univerzitní sportovní klub Praha.
And quite wisely, all the women getting themselves back under the shade. Warm-up area, well, it is warm.
Svůj titul mistryně republiky v táboře.
See behind them, there's fans on stage. I'm not sure I see any fans in the area where the women are going to be sitting between jumps.
Denisa Pešová.
Really good temporary setup here in Brno.
Ještě jednou tedy příjemné odpoledne, možná brzký
podvečer. Towel themselves down.
Dá trošku kamarádit. Každopádně přátelé, to mravenčení v břiše.
Enjoying herself, always really good smiling presence.
30. ročník Brněnské Latky Olympia 2026, tedy fenomenálního vyšťastného mítinku, který pravidelně v akcích města Brna obsazuje přední příčky.
Congratulating all the women and passing on her best. Let's just say warm regards to the organisers from last year's winner, Nicola Olaslagers, the reigning world champion. She's still in New Zealand preparing for this year's events. She'll be watching this live stream there, so a big shout out to you, Nicola.
Dnes mluvil o včerejším zářebu a tak dál a tak dál. Prostě, dámy a pánové,
Denisa Pešová.
Příjemné odpoledne a skvělý výškařský zážitek.
A o ten první se nám postarala Denisa Pešová.
USK Prague Club, the University Sports Club of Prague.
Letos vyhrála 7. února halovou. Hauling závod ve výšce a venku v Castellonu ve Španělsku před 3 nedělemi skočila 184 a byla i úspěšná na memoriálu Josefa Odložila. Na Juliste 1. června, kde dala také 184. Denisa Pešová.
To get underway.
Paráda, krásná rezerva. Denisa je opravdu vystoustružená atletka. Máme první úspěšný zápis.
No a máme tu český tandem. Znamená to tedy, že po Denise Pešové přichází druhá z českých závodnic. Osobní i letošní maximum 187, 23letá Justína Brýdlová.
So Justína Brýdlová Actually, personal best is 187 indoors. In these days, well, we don't differentiate between indoors and outdoors. Change came into consideration a couple of years ago.
Já bych řekl, že je to super atletický čas. Teplíčko, žádné prochlazování. A teď zveme do sektoru Selin Weber. Švýcarka je trojnásobná mistryně své země a to je teprve 20 let. Selin Weber.
So Celine Weber also coming in. Nicely clear from Weber.
Já si myslím, že ta závodnice nám ještě předvede. Sovnie, 20letá dívenka, jednou mistryně Švýcarska Lenko, dvakrát v hale.
Ze Švýcarska je to jen kousek do Itálie. Pojďme tedy na to s osobním maximem 188 cm. Marta Morara, Italy.
Marta Morara. Well, nudges the bar.
Teď fotbalovou terminologií, takže držíme a jedeme dál.
Ano, takže po tomhletom artistickém kousku, který předvedla Italka, je tady na řadě reprezentantka Švédska, Engla Nilsson.
And Engla Nilsson.
Engla Nilsson zvládla svůj pokus bezproblémově, no a sérii prvních pokusů na 171 cm uzavře dívka, kterou představí Michal.
Ano, pojďme na to tou poslední, která by se měla lehce přenést před latku ve výšce 171 cm. Carmen Brusová, Estonsko. Je tomu tak, zahřívací kolo máme za sebou a posuneme se o 5 cm výš, nebo druhou výškou.
Carmen Bruce is over.
V scénáři je pak laťka ve výšce 176 cm.
Správně si Michal slovo nakladl a je krásné, že z těch prvních 6 pokusů nemáme ani jediný křížek, který by znamenal, že se některá ze závodnic neúplně trefila do odrazu. Zvedá se na 176 a tady už z těch 13 výškařek, ne, že by nebyly náležitě prohřáté a připravené.
Everybody over 171.
Pěkný pár pokusů v té
Pesova, Bridlova, Weber, Morara. Morara having perhaps the most difficulty. Nilsson. And the bar will go up very quickly to 176.
Takže znovu otvírá sérii pokusů naše Denisa Pešová, USK Praha. Dvojnásobná halová mistryně republiky a dvakrát druhá na halovém mistrovství.
Pesova, the first to attempt 176.
Skočila nejlepší letošní český výkon 190 cm a i ona prošla mnohaletou školou, či by nezdařila.
Went over a season's best of 184 when winning that European Clubs Cup competition in Castellón in Spain. And we'll go back and review it. We've got all 2 days, 10 hours of competition just waiting for you on the European Athletics YouTube channel. And Jaroslava Barber won't be too unhappy with that. Bridlova, she jumped 187 in Nevici indoors back in February. Personal best outdoors of 184. 176 comfortably done.
By se nějaký ten decimetr dal nalézti mezi zády a laťkou a tak stále všechno s čistým zápisem.
A teď pozveme do sektoru Céline Weberovou, Švýcarku, která v Bazileji 25. května, tedy právě před měsícem, skočila životňák 187. 1087.
Nicely done
Céline Weber.
as well. Weber nicely clear at 176. Shouldn't be having any problems at this height. And there is bags of daylight there. There you can see 176 on the scoreboard in the background.
San Marino, Marta Morara, Italy.
So she struggled a little bit over the opening height. Bags of height there. Just took off a bit too far away. Clipped it with the heels. Rather over-exaggerated. Doesn't get much arm lift, doesn't get much help from the upper part of her body, but plenty of spring there.
Takže když posune rozběh o 20 čísel dopředu, tak to bude v pohodě. Zveme do sektoru dámu, která v tom Hamiltonu, v tom novozelandském městě zdolala 188 cm. Imogen Shelton.
Bit out of... Seems to be a little bit of confusion. Should be Skelton. There she is. She's caught the director out. Skelton nicely over.
Z levé strany, ale o to příjemnější je zjištění, že to byl rozběh, který byl zakončen úspěšným pokusem. Sheltonová 100
coming from the left-hand side, so a right foot takeoff. Always the way these days. And Busa Savaskan. Well, Savaskan, the great competition last year as well, finishing fifth equal here, but setting a personal best of 193. So she's familiar and very comfortable with jumping in Brno, and that showed with that very nice clearance at 176.
Na olympijské laťce v Olympii osobáček a tak znovu se vrací do místa dění.
A my pozveme do sektoru Englu Nilssonovou, Švédku, která se stala loni stříbrnou medailistkou na mistrovství Evropy do 23 let v norském Bergenu. Engla Nilsson.
So Inga Nilsson. And she's open. So Eli Morara at the moment, having brought the bar down, I'll go up to 181.
Vlastně obalila tu laťku. No a máme tady možnost, Michale, představit dámu, kterou jsme tu ještě skákat neviděli.
Jdeme do soutěže, ale první skok.
That's the way these days.
Pochází z Texasu.
Oh, very good. Nilsson's gained quite a few friends in Brno, engaging with some of the youngsters. She'll be welcome back next year for sure, however things progress from here. Sana Barnes. Now Barnes, now 25 years of age, best of 194. She did, finishing second at the US Championships last year. And to replace the World Championships, but struggled in qualifying in Tokyo, crashed out, didn't make the final. Turn the clock back to 2019, she was the Pan American Under-20 champion. Now, Louise Ekman had an absolutely fabulous indoor season, improved her best to 196. I remember quite vividly her performance in Banska Bystrica when she set 3 personal bests in that competition, culminating in clearing 196. She's been over 191 outdoors this year. That's her coach, Bent Jonsson, Carmen Bruce. Bruce, as I say, under-20 champion back in 2022. Struggled a bit in the last couple of years. injuries and some upheavals with coaching changes. Just come back from a long stint, warm weather training in Puerto Rico. That was just a bit sloppy.
Série na 176 cm. Uzavřeme sérii prvních pokusů Mariou Žodzikovou.
One smile from Bruce. It's a second outdoor competition. First one was at the weekend. Jumping day competitions, and Marta Marara clears. Everybody over 176, 181 the next height. We'll see a couple more people coming back in at 176, I think. 81, I should say.
Volí dlouhý rozběh a lehce volně nad letkou. Tedy pokračujeme dál.
Ano, a doufejme, že bude pokračovat dál i Carmen Bruceová.
Carmen Bruce.
Jenom trošičku netrefila místo odrazu a Carmen Bruceová jde na svůj druhý pokus na 176 cm.
Oh, timing's all wrong there. Very determined, came in quickly. High point was not directly above the bar, and she came down on it. So you've got 2 minutes. Probably won't need that, but we'll need a third attempt.
Bruce is from Estonia. července loni dala 196 cm.
Third and final attempt for Carmen Bruce. You'll see her prowling around in the background there. Imogen Skelton.
Pochopitelně zvětšuje se jí časový limit.
New Zealand high jumping. In great shape at the moment on the men's side with Hamish Kerr, champion. All the women. Third attempt for Carmen Bruce.
Bruceová letos dvakrát 185, vše v hale.
Still a few women to come in. Haven't seen Jodzik or Hufnagel or indeed Bexy Breeson. So, time to focus and concentrate. Estonian, well, we know she's talented. But she has been, in recent times, notwithstanding the injuries, something of an erratic performer as well. And well, it took 3 attempts to get it right, but there all the jigsaw puzzle pieces finally came together.
Pokračuje dál všech 13 závodnic, to je parádní bilance. No a budeme zvedat na 181 cm. Ty kroky zvedání jsou u prvních 3 výšek po 5 cm, pak přijdou 4 cm distance mezer.
So the bar now goes up to 1 meter
3 cm rozdíl
81.
A pak případně 2 cm rozdíly nad 2 metry.
Štěpán to říkal naprosto přesně, když si pravil, že pokračuje 13 závodnic, protože
sunglasses needed by everybody here. So far, I'm actually surprised. We have only seen, I think Saviscan was jumping in sunglasses.
No, ovšem my jdeme od českého dvojbloku.
Ano, začínáme stejně jako na 171 a 176. Znovu si beru do úst Čigu Nezdařila, který včera sledoval trénink.
First jump will be Czechia's Denisa Pesová.
Teď se budeme věnovat Denise Pešové na stojanech 181 cm.
Busy. She's already had 4 competitions outdoors this year.
závodu v Hustopečích.
On Sunday in Pilsen, but struggled, only cleared 169, but has been over 184 a couple of times this year. Should be wanting to jump well in front of a home crowd. No, crashes into the bar, drops her shoulder just slightly, looks a bit flat-footed. Doesn't quite have the same zip as she had at the earlier heights. She was fourth, very close to her best at the European Under-23 Championships back in 2023 when she went over 187 on that occasion. Number one, well, she's not far from it. Michaela Gruber, former world under-20 champion, cleared 190 in Zagreb yesterday. Another woman challenging for the top slot in domestic honours on the Czechia high jump scene. Kristina Bridlova. Similar jump to Pešova's.
Čekají nás opravy na 181 v českém dvojbloku.
It's a 15th competition of the year. Really cracking along with those competitions. Almost 3 a month, basically.
Tak vrchník ještě zkontroluje to položení na patky, kam se dává laťka, a pozveme do sektoru Celine Weber from Switzerland. Velmi všestranná závodnice, která běhá ve
So, Celine Weber.
A jednou by si chtěla zkusit sedmiboj.
Bags of height, but just wrapped her legs around it.
Velmi vysoko před laťkou.
Was 20 years of age.
Nezastavitelný pár zadní části těla. Went
to the European Juniors last year, European Under-20 Championships, I should say. Didn't get out of qualifying, unfortunately, on that occasion. We were in Tampere in Finland. She's got the Under-23s next year in Big Gosh to look forward to. Now, Marta Marara. Some difficulty at the previous height, needed 2 attempts to get over what should be a straightforward height of 176. Now the bar is at 181. Nicely over there. As I say, she's already gone close to her personal best, going over 186 at her last meeting 2 weeks ago in Teravalle. Looking down, this is actually her first international meeting. I wouldn't be surprised if it was that 186 that secured her an invitation to Brno. Now, Imogen Skelton. Personal best of 188. Came outdoors, as you might imagine, in New Zealand back in February. Nicely done, comfortably over. Jumping well. Since she's come to Europe, she's had a 182 in Reilingen in Germany, that good meeting. 182 in an Italian meeting at the start of the month. 181, 179. So she's consistent around the low 180s. Now she needs to make that next step up, Skelton.
Dvojnásobná mistryně Kuby, letos 192, osobákem 193, Daisy Adelina Brissot.
Here's Savaskan. Oh well. Sides. Our first jump of the competition. Maxi Breeson bringing it down.
Pak nohou shodila laťku, ještě si sama prohlédne, kde byla ta chyba.
Jumped indoors for the first time this year. A couple of meetings in Moscow and jumped personal indoor best of 189. 191 in her last outing, which was in Hengelo on Sunday, so she's bringing 194 here. That was just a sloppy opener, I think. It's a little bit of ring rust now. Busa Sevaskan. Comfortably over for Sevaskan. Sevaskan. She's actually beaten by Peshoba in Castillon at that European Clubs competition.
Se nám představí i mistryně Švédska. Mimo jiné 100 metrů překážek umí za 14:71.
2024 and 2024 Europeans and Olympic Games. Now, Engla Nilsson. It's quick, very quick in to the bar. In addition to that European Indoor Championships bronze medal last year, she also took the silver in the European Under-23s in Bergen in Norway. Hails from Gothenburg.
Sana Barnes from United States.
Some jumpers seem to just be going through the ritual, but Nilsson genuinely seems to enjoy engaging with the fans between jumps. Sana Barnes. Very quick. She's a very, very good volleyball player when she was at Villanova University, where she did most of her studying.
A my pokračujeme dále. A druhou švédskou závodnicí halová mistryně z roku 2023 v Malmö, Louise Ekmanová, Sweden.
Cleared 191 outdoors and comfortably over 181. 91 came 10 days ago in Sollentuna. Another meeting which is on the European Athletics YouTube channel. And streaming well over 30 meetings this year. So Carmen Bruce, who had rather a few problems at the earlier height. Let's see whether that third time clearance at the previous height. No, she's managed to calm herself and do all the adjustments necessary. That was a good clearance from Bruce. Vargan, as a teenager, she was also 7th at the 2022 World Championships. They're in Eugene.
Charity Hufnagel, United States of America.
So, Charity Hufnagel. First attempt for Hufnagel. No problems for Hufnagel. Everything there. Bags of height. Hufnagel. 181 tall, so jumping exactly her own head height. The very high quality American collegiate title back in 2023. And the last person to jump, both in the lineup and entering this competition, Maria Zodchik. Ooh, well, Zodchik won't like that. As you see so often, early failures, and perhaps you're just a little bit rusty, can come back to haunt you later on.
Provedení,
Coach
pardon, Patero provedení, zapomněl jsem na Brissonovou.
Nazarkovic giving her a bit of guidance.
Stále 180.
We've got quite a few women who are going to have to take a second attempt at this height. Starting off with Denise Peshova. Tools, so actually jumping above her own head height. And as you can see, the crowd being exhorted to clap and support the local high jumper. But no, Peshova brings the bar down.
To nevychází. Budeme doufat v třetí pokus na 181 cm.
Další svěřenkyně Jaroslava Báby, Justýna Drýdlová z Vysokého Mýta, která reprezentuje celkem nenápadný, relativně malý atletický klub, ale ve Vysokém Mýtě se konají velmi zajímavé závody.
Drýdlova.
Justýna Drýdlová.
See if she can keep Czech interest in this competition with a clearance. Drýdlova nicely over.
Který představuje Laťka a dává. Úspěšně zvládla Drýdlová.
Good height. Dips her shoulder in.
A je to vítězka Hvězdy v nehvězdech.
Worked well. Nice clearance.
20. února v téhle nenápadné halen severovýchodně od Prahy vyhrála závod.
Celine Weber.
Hvězdy v nehvězdech.
Cleared a personal best of 187 in Basel on home soil last month. Tall, slightly prancing runner, but nicely done. Very effective.
No, my se budeme soustředovat teď na pokus taxi Adeliny Brissonové. To je novozélandská Kubánka. Omlouvám se, Kubánka.
Swiss number one. Unpacking her performance, but she produced a nice jump. And probably concentrate a bit further at 186 because that'll just be a centimetre below her personal best. Breeson. It's a rather sloppy opener. Bearing in mind the Cuban cleared 191 at the weekend. She's in good form. Oh, that's more like it. Jumping from the left-hand side. The majority of the women are jumping from the right-hand side. Left foot takeoff, but Daxon and a couple of others on the left-hand side. There's a cool room if you need it. The fans.
Národní mistryně Běloruska, ale prarodiče pochází z Polska, proto získala polské občanství na mistrovství světa v Tokiu.
So Maria Zodchik. Just a rather sloppy, rather lackadaisical failure the first time of asking. Those just look like regular sunglasses you buy from the supermarket, but they do the job on this occasion. No problems for Zodchik.
Říkávali už naše babičky a my se budeme věnovat třetímu pokusu na 180.
Very used to jumping in sunglasses. I can't recall another competition where I've seen Zodchik jumping in sunglasses.
Která se bude zachraňovat
Peshova.
jako první na této výšce.
Third and final attempt for Pešova to stay in this competition.
Hop, 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 hop. Vaše dlaně. Hop, hop.
Only Pešova taking a third attempt. Of course, doesn't want to be the first woman to depart. No, that's a foul. Cross the line of the part, and she departs from the competition. She will be the unlucky 13th when the results are finally published. So not the best of competitions from Pešova. Saw her jumping much better in Castillon, and happier memories perhaps if you want to go and review the European Champion Clubs Cup live streams, because they are there on the YouTube channel. So she's got a bit of a drive back to Prague.
Měří a laťku posouváme do výšky 180
a little bit closer to Brno.
centimetrů.
A to už bude Michala podle
Mioto,
hranice, na které se některé závodnice
30 kilometers north of Brno.
víc trápit.
Je to tak? A tou první, která načne,
Hufnagel
Justína,
taking a leaf literally and metaphorically out of Nikola Olischlager's book and noting down her thoughts after every jump. Justina Bridlova. First attempt to 186. This is only 1 centimetre below her personal best. Attempting an outdoor best.
prozatím křížek.
Not the best of efforts. Certainly determined, but just I don't think she believed that she could clear that bar. Nevertheless, 2 more attempts.
Celine Weber.
Celine Weber.
Bazileji před
Weber.
nedělemi skočila 180.
Like Bridlova, personal best of 187. Achieved outdoors compared to Bridlova, who's done it indoors. Quite experienced at age group levels. Went to the 2022 European Under-18s in Jerusalem. Last year's European Under-20 Championships in Bergen. Bergen? No, that was where the Under-23s were, in Tampere. No, because I was commentating there.
Prvnímu pokusu pomohli hop, 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 hop.
So the announcer trying to
Začátek byl
exhort the crowd to some rhythmic support.
ale pak jste to nějak, jak se
There, not a bad attempt from Weber. Height was there, just left her legs trailing. She's come on a lot this year since competing in Tampere.
Nejdelší rozběh a už ji máme na videoscreenu. Marta
Morara.
A pojďme na to. Hop, 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 hop.
Competes for the Italian Air Force Club. Of course, public authorities in Italy, often sponsors of clubs like the police and various military entities. Doesn't necessarily mean that she's part of it, she's just part of the club. Very quick in, good height, but a bit like Weber, just leaves her legs trailing. Just needs a little bit more activity above the bar. So Imogen Skelton. No one clear so far. Skelton is just 2 centimetres below her personal best, which dates from earlier this year. Oh, nice jump from Skelton. Now that's a really good effort from Skelton. That'll give her a lot of confidence that a personal best at 190 is hers for the taking at the next height. Still took off a little bit too far away. but it was a good clearance from the New Zealander. And as I say, she's got in her sights that 35-year-old New Zealand record, which stands at 192 to Tanya Dixon. Been on the books, the 1990 Commonwealth champion. Breeson. And Breeson nicely over. Two women now over this height.
No a protože Kubánky a Kubánci jsou vynikající trojskokani, tak jsme viděli, že i ten rozběh naznačuje, že to k tomu patří, že by asi měla velmi dobré parametry i v trojskokanském sektoru. Ale pojďme dál. Je tady Buze Savaskánová, turecká výškařka, která dvakrát vstoupila a
Buze Savaskan, the Turk.
Šestinásobná mistryně své země.
Two on the Turkish all-time list with a clearance last year in 193 here. Ooh. Didn't just take off was all wrong. Not surprisingly, just crashed through the bar. Six-time Turkish champion. No, too far away. Run-up was wrong and the takeoff was wrong. And you saw the results. Nevertheless,
a tak Angela Nilsonová soupeří.
Not really been hitting her best form this year so far. Let's look at Angela Nilsson. Nice clearance from Nilsson.
Angela Nilsson from Sweden. Season best.
Well, Nilsson, personal best of 194 last year in Geneva. Didn't have a great indoor season, just 184, so didn't go to the World Championships. She's jumping a bit better here. That was the season's best for her. Sana Barnes.
Nechce tleskat, děkujeme.
Yes, well over for Barnes. Started her outdoor season on Sunday in Hengelo. Jumped 184 there before bringing the bar down at 188. That was a nice clearance. Slightly stutter steps. Not the smoothest of run-up. She's quick, so it can turn a lot of horizontal speed into vertical energy. Louise Ekman.
Louise Ekmanová, Švédsko.
Was a communications officer for a big law firm, but now she's a full-time athlete, having had such a successful indoor season, and it's paying off. That was a very smooth, very competent jump indeed. 12 months ago, she'd have been absolutely delighted. That would have been close to her personal best, but she's made such a big improvement during the course of the indoor season. 29 years of age. It's taken her a long time to really find her rhythm and her form, but Ekman now absolutely flying, literally and metaphorically, as I sometimes like to say. Now, come on, Bruce. Jumping from the right-hand side. Not a bad effort from Bruce, but brings the bar down.
Tak po té trojici a sérii úspěšných zdařených pokusů přichází.
That's a bit too far away. Doesn't get much help from her arms.
V prvních pokusech máme dvě dámy. Ta první se svým typickým americkým přístupem a neb startovní číslo 4. To je Charity Hufnagel, United States of America.
Now, Charity Hufnagel.
A žádá si come on. Tam to bylo jasně řečeno.
Hufnagel will be quite quite pleased to see a personal best elevated to 197. 196 indoors, 194 outdoors. That looks a bit like that. Who knows whether she could jump 197 today? Maybe there's a little bit of prophecy involved. And indeed, if the bar rises as expected, 197 is on the cards. Next heights after this, after 186, 190, 194, and then 197. We do rise very quickly. So Maria Zodchik, 2 attempts to get over the earlier height. Got it right now. Failure at 181. Really just a poor training jump. Let's put it down to that. But now she's really starting to get into her groove. Nice clearance. Didn't look as though put too much effort into it either. Started out life competing for Belarus, her Polish grandparents, and she's lived in Poland since 2022. And just over 2 years ago got cleared to compete for Poland. So, second attempt, starting with Justyna Bridlova. No, brings the bar down. Second time of asking, Bridlova. 2 attempts to get to 181. And that's 2 failures at this height. Celine Weber. Posing herself mentally.
Její 20 let, je to závodnice, která v Bazileji přesně na den přesně před měsícem skočila své životní maximum 187. Teď je laťka od centimetr pod jejím životním maximem. Hop, hop,
so Weber.
hop, hop, hop.
I rather like that splendid graphic on the screen beside the jumpers. Yes. Sigh of disappointment as Celine Weber brings it down at the second time of asking. His height, 186, starting to sort out and provide a challenge to some of the lesser ranked athletes, Weber and Bridlova. Marta Marara. Over second attempts just yet. Marara. Whoa, that was a great jump from Marara.
Marta Marara.
Zaskočila svůj životní výkon. Stan Marino, já jsem Michal, myslel, že Stan
2 centimeters below her best. Equals her season's best. Hasn't been higher since 2022. So, in good shape, Marara, relatively speaking. Busa Saviskan. Well, we've seen her jump so well in the past, but had a rather poor first attempt. Her 179 tall, but she's got a lot of spring. She's quick on the run-up as well. But a second failure for Saviskan. And as I said, she's been struggling to find her form this year. Indoors only had a best of 185, and so far cleared 184 in Białystok in Poland last month. It's not quite happening so far for Saviskan this outdoor season. Carmen Bruce.
Držitelka estonského rekordu a držitelka světového rekordu do 18 let. Carmen Bruce, Estonia.
So Bruce. struck me a little bit. No, she's... Well, there have been occasions when high jumpers managed to pull it out, but she was chopping her strides from about 5 strides out from when she entered the curve. And that was a recipe for disaster. Helping Weber, just advising you just to try and keep it smooth as we now head into the 3rd attempt. Well, 7 over this height. We've got no less than 5 women with 3rd and final attempts at 1.86 m. Starting with Justina Bridlova. Oh, what an excellent jump from Bridlova. That's an outdoor personal best for Bridlova. 1 centimetre below a lifetime best, which she got indoors earlier this year. And everything that Jaroslav Barber had said to her was taken into account and has paid off. Celine Weber, follow that. Local interest still alive in this competition after that clearance from Bridlova. Can the Swiss indoor champion follow suit? No. She chopped her stride. The run-up wasn't smooth at all. She didn't look as though she was confident. Bit of a surprise because she was actually jumping well at the earlier heights. Not quite sure what that was about. Maybe it was a lottery ticket for later. Anyway, Weber, the Swiss number 1, takes no further part in this competition. Next up, Busa Saviskan.
6násobná mistryně Turecka. Kyperská Turkyně, přátelé, mistryně Balkánu. 24 v Izmiru.
Bruce to come after that. No, well, there was a much better jump than her first 2 at this height. On a different day, maybe she'd have been confident and just attack it a little bit more. Busa Saviskan. Takes no further part in this competition after 5th place last year and a personal best of 193. Much more modest outing on this occasion. Saviskan has to settle for a best of 181. Carmen Bruce.
A 3. pokus na 186. Pojďme pomoct.
The infield commentator adding the Czech pronunciation, which for female competitors is to add a OVA onto the end of their names. Well, that was a better attempt as well, but like Saviskan, took off just a bit too far away. So Bruce still very much on the comeback trail after her magnificent teenage career. Won the World Under-20 title at the age of 17. 2 years later took a bronze at the age of 19. Last couple of years have been a bit of a struggle. She's getting better slowly. So the bar goes up to 1.90 m. Quality competition for a World Athletics Continental Tour silver meeting.
Je to tak, Michale, budeme zvedat a máme ze hry 4 korkyně, což suma sumárum znamená, že pokračuje ještě 9 závodnic. To je stále ještě dost velký počet na to,
Less than 10 women still in this competition.
Viděli všichni, včetně
Wondering whether we could even see a couple of personal bests. This is personal best territory for a few of the jumpers like Marara and Bridlova.
na 190
Imogen
cm.
Skelton
Já
as
jsem
well.
přesvědčen, že jich nebude potřeba tolik.
No,
So we've got 3 women who will be attempting personal bests at this height.
Zatím na maximu
I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of them gets it.
Tady už bojujeme o
Charity Hufnagel,
posunutí
very
hranic.
effervescent character. We
Tak pojďme za
saw her a few times at indoor competitions on the European Athletics live streams. So, Kristina Rydlova, this a personal best? No.
A škoda,
I don't think she believed in herself.
na poprvé to nevychází.
Slow run up.
Jedeme dál.
Ano,
She's 3 centimeters higher than she's ever jumped before.
ale neberte ta čísla vážně, protože to je pochopitelně jenom
Nevertheless,
počítačový moment.
2 more jumps.
Marta Morarová.
And Jaroslava Barber just trying to encourage her.
Rekord 188. A znamená
Marta
to,
Marara,
26letá Italka jde na
2 centimeters higher than Marara's ever jumped before.
Italy.
Personal best of 188 dates back to 2022, 4 years ago. And indeed, she was 22 years of age. Not a bad effort. Not a bad effort at all.
Velmi nadějně,
Just needs a bit more commitment, a bit more speed.
ale nebylo to vůbec bez šancí. Takže uvidíme, jak to bude vypadat v druhém pokusu.
Took it down with her backside, but the torso was over, and cleanly over.
Trojnásobná mistryně Nového Zélandu.
Now, Imogen Skelton had a terrific clearance at 186. This is 2 centimeters higher than she's ever done before. 2026 has been in good form. 188 in Hamilton back in February. That was a personal best then. New Zealand #1. Stands, I think, #4 on the New Zealand all-time list. Not a bad effort as well from Skelton.
Nikdo nedokázal zdolat 190 cm na první pokus.
Uvidíme, co Číbův černý kůň, teda ho chválil ze včerejšího tréninku, když Kubánka Dexy Adama Bristonová
Daxi Brison.
takového odborníka, jako je Čiba, tak v tom něco musí být. I ona se rozbíhá jako Novozelanděnka zleva. Briston, hop, 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 hop. Všimněte si těch koníčků, to je taková ta trojskokanská průprava. Na Kubě oblíbená.
Brixon. 191 on Sunday, attempting 190 here.
Ještě
Not that far away.
bylo to poměrně ploché a máme 4 zápisy ze 4 skoků na 190 cm a zatím bez úspěchu, ale Michale,
No one over 190 so far.
čistý zápis. Tak ti přeju, ať v tom pokračuješ.
Děkujeme moc, nicméně Angela má, pokud nás statistiky neklamou, letošní maximum na 185.
Several more high jump specialist competitions coming up later in the summer.
Takže forma je aj.
Angela Nilsson didn't have the height or the
První křížek v zápise u Angely
coordination of her earlier effort at 186.
A teď je tady závodnice, která před tím
This
předcházejícím
is going
pokusem
to be the height which sorts a lot of these jumpers out.
její soustředění a pak ani rozběh.
Nilsson, wonderfully talented though.
Američanka Sana Barnes
Said last year, got those 2 Continental medals. Bronze at the European Indoors, silver at the European Under-23s. Sana Barnes. Just tried to jackknife herself over the bar.
Jako by to byla
Took off, I think, just a little bit too close to it though.
Tak třeba Luis Ekmanová a
So
Hlas
still waiting for somebody to clear this height.
Luis má letos skočeno 196,
Down to the last 3 of the 10 women in this competition.
o 6 cm níže. Uvidíme, jak si poradí s touto výškou.
Next up will be Louise Ekman. Well,
Mistrně
been
předloňského roku.
clearing heights with comfort.
Ekman, Sweden.
Does have a habit of leaving her legs and bringing them through very late. Her style, well, there you go. Clips it, but she's the first woman over at 1m90. The Swede just carries on, proving just how consistent she can be in 2026. Been over 191 a couple of times outdoors this year. Started a outdoor campaign at the start of this month. Now, Charity Hufnagel. Hufnagel, personal best of 196 indoors in Madrid earlier this year. Crowd didn't seem to realise she was up and ready to jump. So, let's see Ekman now go clear. Can Hufnagel need to drink to her? Oh, bags of height. That was a really good jump, with the exception of leaving her legs behind. That's just looking at that replay a little bit too far away. There was a huge amount of height there. That shows why she's a 196 jumper. One of the US Olympic Games trials in 2024, but couldn't go because to Paris as she didn't have enough ranking points. Now Maria Zodzik, last person to go in the first round. Tall, rangy run up and sails clear. So just Zodzik and Ekman clear at the first attempts.
Kandidátek na 190 cm, 2 zatím úspěšné, zůstávají počtu 7, dáme na opravy.
No a jdeme na druhé pokusy. Už se soustředí v předklonu. A střádá plány na pokoření.
Justina Bridlova.
190 cm.
Second attempts. 3 attempts to get over the previous height, but did it, 186. Just a centimetre below her personal best. Now she's attempting 190. Much better jump than the first one, but still just brings the bar down. Slightly dips into the bar with her shoulder. She's got one more attempt, and that was a lot better than her first effort.
To bylo 25. února, ale teď 8. května v Olomouci vyhrála 54. ročník ceny města Olomouce, takže ta forma postupně stoupá a její životní maximum 187.
Bridlova was too bothered about that, just wanted to get back into the shade and think about her third attempt. Nevertheless, give the kids what they wanted. Hand slap. Marta Marara. Nice jump at 186. This takes her into new territory. Oh! It stays up! It's a big personal best for Marta Marara. The Italian has just cleared 1m90, 2 centimetres higher than she's ever done before.
New personal record. First time over.
Well, Marara in great shape at the moment. What more can we see from Marara? Her first personal best in 4 years. And congratulations all round. Just wondered whether it was there after seeing that clearance at 186. Now, Imogen Skelton, who also had an excellent jump at 186. Can the New Zealander follow suit? Can't fail to be inspired what Marara did. Imogen Skelton attacking. No, just chopped her stride a couple of strides out from takeoff. Decent effort.
A teď pozveme do sektoru kubánskou reprezentantku Daxi Adelinu Brisonovou, která má na svém kontě ministryně Kuby. Letos v únoru poprvé v životě překonala 190 cm.
193 coming in Havana last year, but jumped 192 already. Jumped that to win the Luca meeting 2 weeks ago. Oh, not very far at all. That was a good effort from the Cuban. And she's already jumped this height this season. She knows it's there in her legs.
Michale, koho pozveš na sektor teď?
Je to švédská reprezentantka Engla Nilssonová, 21letá.
So Brison, one more attempt left for the Cuban. She departs quickly. Engla Nelson has a habit of taking her jumps very quickly after the previous one. Doesn't hang around, the Swede. Building up, building up. Too close to the bar. Took off too close. Looked good until the last two strides. Then I think she realised as well that she was not going to be in the right position. No room for manoeuvre. So Nilsson goes back into the shade. Now the turn of Sanne Barnes. Oh, and Barnes is over. Well, 190, has only ever cleared that height twice before, or better. 194, last year's US Championships, and 191 in Freeport last year as well. So, a good day at the office for Barnes, however it progresses from here. She'll have the chance to try and equal her personal best at the next height. And from one American to another. Charity Hofnagel. Hofnagel, bags of height, just left her legs trailing with that first attempt at 190. Just needs to tighten up a little bit, but it certainly is there. 4 women over. Ekman, Zodzik on the first attempts. Barnes and Morara on the second. Can Hofnagel join them? Yes, she can. Outstanding effort from the American. And enjoying herself with one of the local organisers. He's certainly getting his money's worth, bringing the American to Brno. And celebrations all round. So, third attempts. So we got 5 women over.
A když tady viděla teďko to, že se to povedlo 5 soupeřkám, tak by to mohlo povzbudit a stáhnout po kýženém výkonu, který bude začínat 19.
4 women to take third and final attempts. Justina Bridlova. This will be a personal best for Bridlova. Looked terribly convinced with the first 2 efforts. That was probably the best of the 3, but Bridlova finishes her competition with a best of 186, just 1 centimetre below her all-time best, and an outdoor best, personal best for Bridlova. So a good competition for the Czech athlete. Just as a side note, best ever performance from the local athlete in Brno came back in 2000. When Zuzana Plavnova cleared 2 meters, 195. Plavnova still holding the Czech national record at 2 meters. Well, the likes of Pashova and Bridlova a little bit away from that at the moment, but still a few years left in their careers. Imogen Skelton, the New Zealander now, looking for a personal best. I just wondered whether she was going to be able to get a personal best because she had such a terrific clearance of 186, but not to be today. Nevertheless, when she goes back and looks at that 186 clearance, that'll give her a lot of confidence. Far too far away, really. Again, I just wonder whether, once it goes up to a personal best height, that she had the confidence to take it on. Nevertheless, I think back home in New Zealand, I'm sure some people among her family and friends are watching this. They'll be very pleased with that performance. Maxi Breeson. Well, Breeson. Yes. She makes it 6.
Velká paráda a máme dobrý. Další úspěšnou závodnici přes 190.
Tickled the bar, but got up there.
Všich je 6.
A doufejme, že ještě jedna
Shoulders over, just catches it a little bit with her calves.
21letá borkyně, osobní maximum.
Third and final attempt for Engla Nilsson.
Letos ovšem zatím jen 185. Před několika dnů z
Nilsson.
A tak pojďme pomoct.
Hasn't been jumping terribly well this year. Really just starting to get into her groove. No, it's not there, just skidded. So Nilsson departs. The European indoor bronze medalist has to settle for somewhat further down the rankings this year, this time in Brno. Nilsson. Pushed down and finishes equal 7th.
No, máme tady, dámy a pánové, pultuse
statečných z těch over 190 and the bar going up to 194.
Jsou to Marta Morárová.
It's a good quality competition with 6 women over 190.
Je to Bristolnová
Morara at personal best, Breeson, Cuba, Sana Barnes, Louise Ekman, Charity Huffnagel, and Maria Zodzik. 2 Americans, Swede, a Pole, an Italian, and a Cuban.
To si myslím, že by byl velmi příjemný moment, kdyby se tam na medailových stupních objevila jedna, 2 nebo dokonce 3
very hot. On the outside of the Olympia Shopping Centre, still close to 30 degrees. There we go, just getting it all right. Old school, the scoreboard. Magnetic bits. Still as effective though.
Bude ve startovním poli načínat Marta Morara, Itálie.
Anymore, it's 1m90 and standing 1m88 tall. She's cleared above her head height for the first time in her career. Long striding runner. Not a bad effort considering she's already got a personal best and the bar has gone up to 194. Didn't quite have the height. For Morara, it's a bit of a leap. That 4 centimetres of additional height is a long way further than she's ever jumped before. Can be done, of course, and if she needs any advice, just chat with Louise Ekman, who's jumping very shortly. Ekman added 5 centimetres onto her personal best in one competition this year. It was the Basque Spitzer indoor meeting, and they did that in 3 different increments. So, Maxi Breeson, Cuban, got over on the 3rd time of asking, made hard work of it. No, just clatters into the bar.
První pokus tedy nezdařený, jedeme dál. Sana Barnes, United States of America.
Sana Barnes. Barnes, this would equal her personal best. Cleared 194 last year for second at the US Championships. No, it's not there. Not on this jump anyway. Has 2 more attempts though at this height. So we're down to the big 3. It's going to form so far. Ekman, Hufnagel and Zodžik. Still using safety pins. Got to think of something better in this age of artificial intelligence. Sure, we could get them to stick to uniforms. Wait and see. Anyway, Louise Ekman, 194, not that far away. Brings the bar down, but that is definitely the best jump we've seen so far. Just Hufnagel and Zodžik to attempt this height with their first attempts.
Největší showmanka dnešního odpoledne. Charity Hufnagel. Rozena Griffithová.
Hufnagel, now also a volunteer coach at Louisiana Louisville. Can't read my own notes. Louisville. She's coached by Wyatt Rhodes. Not sure Rhodes is over here with her in Europe. Here, there and everywhere. Oh, that was a huge height, but just brings it down. Now 4 outings so far. She's been in China, Morocco, both Diamond League outings when she jumped 191. Hengelo on Sunday, where she dipped back to 184. Oh, it's there. That was big height. Just a high point was just a bit wrong. So nobody over so far. Can Maria Zodžik take the impetus in this competition? Had that early foul at 181. Well, she can reset. She didn't cross the plane of the bar, I don't think. Just looking. Don't see a red flag.
30 seconds.
Yeah. To be a fluent Czech speaker to understand that the clock is counting down for Maria Zodžik as she resets. Now, this is going to be hard. Mentally, she'll remember the fact that she pulled out of that jump. Why did she pull out? What were the problems? Oh, well, a second approach, and it was a good effort as well. Height was there, just clipped it off with her heels. You do chop slightly with your final 2 strides just to put yourself in position, but that was just a little bit too much. So nobody clear with their first attempts at 1.94 m. Marta Morara, first of the 6 women to attempt this height. Well, hopefully the sun isn't in her eyes too much. Difficult to sometimes focus on the bar in these sort of conditions when there is still quite a bit of glare. So, Marta Morara. Oh no. Psychological issue there. Just wasn't ready for it. As I say, it's just too big a leap, I think, after clearing 190. If the bar had gone up to 192, maybe she'd have had a better attempt. But I think this is more of a mental issue. But nevertheless, she's got a personal best, however her third and final attempt turns out.
jaká to je
Brison.
atletická figura z toho kubánského ostrova. To jsou opravdu nohy, které by mohl každý trojskokán, výškař a dálkař jenom závidět.
A jak je sladěna? Barevně včetně.
Tall Cuban, now 23 years of age, two-time national champion. That included winning last year, personal best of 193. Not that far away from improving her personal best by a centimetre.
Tady automaticky vylétla noha nahoru, jak byl zvyklý prostě fandit svým svěřencům, ale vůbec se nemáš za co stydět, protože to byl opravdu přirozený reflexní pohyb. Teďko se dívá Kubánka na svůj záznam toho skoku. No a Michale, ty pozveš další závodnici.
Ano, je to tak, ke druhému pokusu se chystá Sana Barnes, United States of America.
Here the infield announcer introducing the next jumper in the rotation, Sana Barnes. Hails from the town of Keller in Texas. Really prefers the absence of any ambient music. The result, unfortunately, is the same, and she brings the bar down. No one clear, and we're halfway through the second round. Ekman, Hufnagel, and Zodzik to come. All three of them had good first attempts, even though they were failures and got the red flag. Expect at least one of them to go clear. I'm just wondering whether Ekman can be the first.
Je 12 let ve švédské výškařské špičce, přátelé. 12 let.
Swedish high jumping. Brilliant on the men's side as well, with people like former Olympic champion Stefan Holm, and on the women's side, Kasia Bergqvist. Still the holder of the unofficial now world indoor record with 2 meters and 8. Separate indoor marks. Well, we still think about them in many respects. The IAAF a couple of years ago changed the record books so that indoor and outdoor marks were consolidated. We lost the world indoor record in the high jump, or the world short track record, although there's no such thing, if you like. So Charity Hufnagel had that really big clearance that was then ended up with the bar being dislodged. But she had the height with her first attempt, and she's flying into it. No, that was much more ragged. That wasn't as good as her first attempt. So we're still looking for somebody to clear this 194 bar. First attempt, she had the height and just took it off. Even though the bar flew up into the air, it was just a slight touch from her backside. Now Maria Zodzik. Ekman still leading the way, having a flawless record up to this height. Maria Zodzik has the chance, but no, she brings the bar down. So it's going to come down to third and final attempt at 1 meter 94. Nobody out of the 6 remaining competitors clear. And one clearance could do it. I think it divides fairly neatly into the fact that Ekman, Hufnagel and Zodzik have gone close with at least one of their first 2 attempts. Reese and Marara and Barnes looking a little bit less likely to go clear, and Marara as well. So Marara. Can she just compose herself, dig deep? This would be a 4 centimetre improvement to the personal best she set when going clear at 190. It's a big leap without any doubt. Well, just trying to mentally prepare herself. Third and final attempt at 194 for Marta Morara. No, it was not there. But a superb afternoon for Marta Morara. 190 clearance and a personal best. The first personal best since 2022. And I'll tell you what, I should probably be smiling all the way back to Italy. And why not?
Tak Tonda Kala dělá radost někomu, kdo má 109 a my řekneme, že Morárová má radost z nového osobního rekordu 190 let.
Daisy Adelina Brisson.
So Darcy Brisson.
Ale ta snaha o zdolání 194. Osobním i sezónním
It's been a rather erratic, eccentric competition for the Cuban. Exaggerated start to a run-up, but a good effort, but unfortunately ends with the same result as the first two attempts, with the bar coming down and a red flag. Nevertheless, 193. I think it might well be a free raffle ticket. And the volunteer just saving them for the women. What do you win? It's just 13 tickets, maybe a trip back next year.
Američanka, která má osobní rekord právě
So Sana Barnes.
190 cm z loňského srpna.
This would equal her personal best. Top American jumper this year is Hufnagel, who's coming up shortly. No. Once again, it wasn't the smoothest of run-ups. And Barnes, well, decent competition for Barnes, 190. She's only jumped this height or better on two other occasions in her life. So Hufnagel leading the way at 1.96 m in the US rankings this year. That clearance at 190 put Barnes up to equal fourth in the US yearly list. And I know we do have some viewers in the US. Now Louise Ekman leading the Swedish rankings this year with a 196 indoors. These athletes will be looking to get enough ranking points perhaps to qualify them for the World Ultimate Championships coming up in September in Budapest. Oh yes, Louise Ekman goes clear at 194. That throws down the gauntlet to Maria Zojic and Charity Hufnagel. The Swede once again carries on her magnificent 2026. And what a flying clearance for the Swede, who's really come good this year.
Ona měla 4 úžasné pokusy od 176 do 190.
She's delighted, and deservedly so.
Charity Hufnaglová a Polka Maria Zojiková. Michale, je to na to.
Just think, she started this year with a personal best of 187, and now clearing 190 and higher just seems routine. So, Hufnagel cleared 196 indoors. Just seen Louise Ekman go clear. How does she respond? She had a good first attempt, not quite so good second attempt. This her third. Oh, it was close, it was very close. But it's not to be. Hufnagel goes out. So just Maria Zodzik left in this competition. It's going to be a European winner, that's for sure. Whether it comes from Sweden with Louise Ekman's clearance at 194 or Poland's Maria Zodzik can respond. Well, the competition will carry on, that's for sure. But Charity Hufnagel
57 si může přijít po závodě sem pro tu výhru.
Takes a share of third place.
Tak a přátelé, pojďme na to, pojďme! Maria Zodzik!
Now Maria Zodzik, no! Well, that's a surprise. Zodzik, last year's World Championship silver medalist. She never really looked on top form here, and you can tell by the expression on her face. That was a disappointing competition for the Pole, who has cleared 2 meters and cleared them in challenging conditions last year. She's still really just starting to get her season going. So we know who the winner is, Louise Ekman. And I'd like to bet that she will have the bar up to 197. That's what it's supposed to be on the schedule, and it would mean a personal best for the Swede.
Které opravovali na 190 cm. Žodzik je tam také s jednou opravou. Necháme to na profesionálech, rozhodčích, kteří to dopočítají, ale může se klidně stát, že
just taking a time, just the last person in this competition. It's been going for about an hour and a half. We started off with 13 women and we're now down to 1.
Zvyšuje se na 197. A to by pro Ekmanovou, dámy a pánové, znamenalo, že tato 29letá Švédka, která už si v tom závodě dnes udělala o 3 cm lepší výkon, než měla v této sezóně, protože v této sezóně byla 19. ve světovém žebříčku na děleném 19.
Just taking a time, just relaxing. It was a good effort. We know that she can respond when the pressure's on. We've seen that in the indoor season.
Dukevanská veslice při stříbrné tour skočila 196, což je její životní maximum. Teď bude zkoušet 100.
European and world lead held by Jaroslava Mahuchik, who cleared 203 indoors. 2 meters for Angelina Topic. Outdoor world lead, Eleanor Patterson, who did 2 meters in Essen at the weekend. Those are the sort of marks. Ekman was to go clear at this personal best height. She'll go equal 8th on the 2026 list. As I mentioned, Kajsa Bergqvist still holds the Swedish record with 2 meters and 8. It's quite a distance away at the moment from Ekland. But jumping 197 would edge her just that ever so slightly closer to that mark. And then, of course, give her a tilt at a tempting 2 meters, the real rarefied air of high jumping.
Tak a rozběhl se čas. 2 minuty pro Louise Ekmanovou.
Well, Ekland currently equal 4th on the Swedish all-time list. This would move her up to equal 3rd. The only woman ahead of her at the moment, Bergqvist, as I mentioned, 208. The former European medalist, Emma Gren, 201. And Erica Kinsey, who jumped 197. So those are the women who've got targets on their back, if you like. Louise Ekman. Oh, wasn't there with her first attempt.
Dámy a pánové, nenechme se mírit, možná to vypadalo jako vypuštěná záležitost, ale Nezapomeňme, že Ekmanová
2 more attempts though, at 197 for Ekman.
soutěži, a to vám můžu z vlastní zkušenosti říct, že v tomhle počasí to není vůbec, ale vůbec žádná legrace. Trenér Bengt Jönsson jí tady radí a podívejte se, jak tady u Čipy Nezdařila, který se osvěžuje, jí doslova a do písmene maskíruje hlavu, co má udělat. To je přístup trenéra,
8 o'clock locally in Brno, and it's starting to get ever so
který
slightly
ví, Ekmanovou
towards
trénuje.
dusk. Heat is still there, it's enveloping everybody, the competitors and the audience as well.
Pozici dělené třetí místo Sam Barnes a Charity Hutnagel.
There's only been a handful of women in the history of this competition who've gone higher than 197. Meeting record held by Jaroslav Mahuchik at 2 meters and 3. She jumped back in 2022
Začala druhá
before
tříminutovka,
going on and taking the European title that year.
počítává z času, který má Ekmanová vymezen pro svůj druhý pokus.
And of course this very much puts Ekman in contention for medal consideration. She's got to be thought of as a medal contender when we do get to those Birmingham 2026 European Athletics Championships. 29 years of age, you'd have thought she was an experienced competitor, but she was really just, towards the lower reaches of international competition prior to this year. She's still learning her trade in many respects.
2 minuty 10, 2 minutes 10 seconds.
Well, lots of time left for
Pojďte to zkusit.
Ekman.
Fantastický, podcukrovaný pokus, kdyby to vyšlo, byla by to velká paráda. 197, to už je cifra.
Shown her ability at really focusing. World Indoor Championships earlier this year where she finished 6th. That'll be very much a learning experience. No, it's not there. She never really took off. Carbon copy of her first attempt. She managed to dig deep and good clearance at 194.
Tak ještě jeden
Just
pokus.
wondering what's happened. Certainly isn't physical, just a little bit of psychology. She's a bit frustrated with herself more than anything.
Každopádně vážení sportoví přátelé, dámy a pánové, stále je se na co těšit, stále je se na co dívat, uvidíme ceremoniál a potom pochopitelně koncert Leny, která stoupá
Her coach,
v žebříčku
Bent Jonsson,
pomštířů České republiky rok za rokem,
basically
však také má geny, které
giving her some verbal guidance,
nemůžou
even a bit of verbal shake.
které jí dala maminka a tatínek je známý architekt. Teď tedy
About 10 centimetres on her runner.
rozběhne se časomíra, po které
We're actually attempting 197. It all makes a difference. So third and final attempt at 197 for Louise Ekman.
bychom nezdržovali váš zájem.
6th at the World Indoor Championships in Torun, but first here in Brno. There we see it, Louise Ekman. '97 indicates the year of her birth.
Pochopitelně na koncert můžete vyrazit okamžitě, jak bude ukončen.
We said that 194 clearance was an outdoor personal best. I mean,
Můžete vyrazit až
all her best marks higher than that came indoors.
No a Máte se na to těšit. Z takovéhle blízkosti.
Wonder how much help that fan in the background is.
Na vstupenky. A tady to je gratis. V rámci akce.
That's cool that there's quite a few of the women actually standing close to it. Third and final attempt for Louise Ekman. The Swede. She's already won this competition. .197. Personal best. No. Got off the ground this time, but it wasn't to be. So Louise Ekman takes the plaudits. She takes first place in Brno and defeats a good quality field as well. Outdoor best, one of the best jumps of her life for Louise Ekman. Couldn't quite dig deep and find that extra few centimetres and go over a lifetime best of 197. Nevertheless, her fantastic 2026 continues.
A prosím vás, nepřehlédnutelný reprezentant Rádia Krokodýl, Tonda Kala, zamává na vás na všechny a vy si pojďte procent sem k němu.
Johnson, still pleased with the performance, no doubt about that.
První cena koloběžka od firmy Jeka Sport, cena 147, to tady ještě dopíšu rychlosti, a potom mu také zopakuju všechny další. Takže 147 koloběžka, 147.
Maybe that's what they were drawing lots for, the air scooter.
Bunda, 149 záhradní balíček, 18 batoh, 109.
Again, that's on a low-cost airline. Extra baggage charges probably as much as the scooter itself.
20 kosmetický balíček od firmy Ifroše, 58 zahradní balíček od firmy SQ, 23 to je kosmetický
competition.
42 láhev vína.
Just as a reminder, what else we've got coming up this week? Well, bit of a hiatus. We've had a whole flurry of live streams on the European Athletics YouTube channel, and I hope you've been enjoying the coverage of World Athletics Continental Tour silver, bronze and challenger meetings. On Sunday, we have a bronze meeting, the Meeting International Troyes, coming to you from that town in France. We also have the Transylvania International 10K coming to you from Cluj, with big European interest in that high-level international 10-kilometre race, with many of the European competitors looking to get qualifying times for the 10,000 metres on the track at the Birmingham 2026 European Athletics Championships. And those championships, between the 10th and the 16th of August, every minute of those championships will be on European Athletics digital channels. If you're enjoying this, I'd also encourage you to go onto the European Athletics website, follow the links to many of the social media channels. There's bags of exclusive content there. Certainly during the championships, even more, because there's a fully fledged social media team out there just grabbing interviews and behind the scenes information you can really see under other circumstances. Having given Louise Ekman a bit of time just to draw a breath, we're ready for the prize giving.
Solo druhé místo má Maria Žodzik a vítězem je Louise Ekman.
Sometimes you get all the competitors acknowledged, but we've just got a 1, 2, 3 there. And judging from what the infield announcer was saying, it's just going to be what championships would be: bronze, silver and gold.
Dělené třetí místo. Tam jsou dvě závodnice s naprosto shodným zápisem. Takže na třetím místě Sana Barnes, United States of America, 190 cm. A s ní ex-eco
Marta Moreira, she was fifth actually on countback. Second time clearance at a personal best of 190. but deservedly getting a bunch of flowers for that terrific performance. 2 centimeters higher than she's ever jumped before.
Na druhém místě skončila the second place.
It's all a bit chaotic out there, but Sana Barnes and Charity Hofnagel, the 2 Americans, identically kitted. Hofnagel quite a bit taller than Sana Barnes, 1.90 m. Their second time clearance at 1.90, meaning that they're relegated to 3rd place. And the very tall Maria Zodzik in 2nd place, taking the plaudits. The only woman over 194, Louise Ekman. Yes, it is hot out there. Any breeze welcome. So there's the 4 medalists, and also 5th place with Marta Moreira. Well, Ekman looking very pleased with her performance, as she should. Zodzik a bit less so, and the 2 Americans, well, I'm sure we'll see better from them during the course of the coming competitions. Hofnagel in particular, I think it was just a question of not quite having her run-up. She was getting great vertical height on her jumps. The run-up wasn't quite doing her any favours. The local organisers are already getting ready for the day at the beach.
Brněnské Latky Olympia a paní Šárka Sechová.
So as we hear the closing music and we see the medalists and Marta Moreira as well, who had a personal best, it's time for me, Phil Minchell, to say goodnight from the Brněnská Latka Olympia, to give its Czechia name, the 30th edition of the Brno International High Jump Meeting. Hope you enjoyed this coverage, and as I say, in addition to European Under-18 Championships coming up next month and the European Athletics Championships in August, we've got several other specialist high jump meetings coming up during the course of the next couple of months. So just keep your eye on the European Athletics website and the European Athletics YouTube channel. But it's time to say goodnight from Moravia.
Děkujeme vám, děkujeme Čibovi, těšíme se na dalších 30 let Brněnské Latky Olympia. Dopadlo to skvěle, famózně, díky. A Tonda je na pódiu, takže Tony, je to tvoje.
Michale, já děkuju také, samozřejmě musím poděkovat moderátorům toho dnešního sportovního dění, tedy Štěpán Škorpil a Michal Chilík, pánové, skvělá práce, ostatní jako vždy. Tak během chviličky my tady lehce zrušíme ty boční zábrany, abyste mohli přijít i sem před pódium, jestli potom třeba zůstanete někteří